Welcome, everyone. Get ready for another episode of QCTV. My guest today is Raquel Spencer. We're here with an energy session. This is Quantum Conversations for Empowerment. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the link in the description box to see how you can join our Zoom after party. It's our New Earth Creator membership. It all starts now. Here we go. Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery.
I love it.
Welcome, everyone. Oh, my goodness. You know, we adapt. That's what we do. I want to welcome everyone to our beautiful session. I'm Loren Gailey. I am here with an incredible light worker today. We were just talking about the 10 years that we've known each other in the last decade. Well, here we are in another new decade. We're playing with technology in a whole new way. And we're going to talk all about this because Raquel Spencer knows energy like no one else I know. And in fact, she helped me tremendously in my life. And I give big credit to this beautiful, beautiful woman right here, Raquel Spencer. Welcome back to the show, Raquel.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be back. Such a pleasure. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Raquel Spencer, if you are not familiar with her, has experienced a soul braid. And that is a fascinating journey into oneness of higher aspects of oneself. We're going to experience an energy shift and we're going to talk about these new energies of 2020. But first, Raquel, my goodness, that soul braid, it is an amazing story. And for those who don't know it, please share that with us.
Oh my gosh. And I think about how long ago this has been, Loren. I went through a unique, I guess you would call it, experience when I was 20 years old. So we're talking 35 years ago, guys. 35 years ago. I went through an unexplained coma. There was no illness, there was no accident, there was no logic, there was no reasoning that could be found in the technology on this planet of why I went into this 5-week coma. And when I came out, things were very different, but I couldn't quite put words to it. We have to think back, guys, 35 years ago. 35 years ago. This was in 1985 that this was happening. And so there really wasn't the platforms like we have now. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't the beautiful programs like Loren does to help people understand what awakening and consciousness is. And so 35 years ago, I started on this journey. And during that 5-week coma, where I was completely gone, my body went through a complete rewiring. To be able to hold the frequencies, to be able to bring through the information that I do. And so it was a very interesting experience. It was a 5-week coma, and it actually took me 5 years to integrate what had happened during that coma. And of course, back then, there really wasn't the conversations going on. Nobody was talking consciousness. It was barely there was not even internet yet. There was not the World Wide Web, guys, right? So it was really an interesting experience. And I went through my multidimensional awakening way back then, not knowing what was going on. And I transversed between the worlds for quite a long time, not understanding what was real, what wasn't real. When you start to see things that aren't there, you question your sanity. Like so many of us, even in today's experience are still doing, but at least now we have the camaraderie, we have the webinars, we have all of the different teachers that are out there on the platform to help people understand this awakening process. And so I went through 5 years of trying to figure out what was real and what wasn't, because I started seeing grid systems, I started seeing light patterns, I started seeing equations, I started seeing those kinds of things. And my gifts started to drop in, and there were no words. Um, as a matter of fact, I was using multidimensional 20 years before it was a pop name, not even really knowing what multidimensional meant, right? And so I got this information, I got the words, I got the technology without really having the technology in the world be at the same level. So I've grown into what I was being given all, 35 years ago, as far as what was happening on the planet, why I had gone through what I went through, and the gifts I was bringing forward to help humanity. Um, and so that was 35 years ago. And I went through, it was really funny. It was probably six, maybe 4 or 5 years after the coma. And someone in casual conversation was like, "Well, what happened to you?" And I turned around and I went and I said, "I had a soul braid. I did a soul braid." And they're like, "What's a soul braid?" And I said, "I don't know. That was new to me. What's the soul braid?" Right? The technology, the words, the information came through before the understanding. But the soul braid really was bringing in layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of my consciousness to actually reside within the physicality that is Raquel, that is the matrix of Raquel in this timeline, in this planet. And so that's how my journey began years and years and years ago. And here we are 35 years ago, and I'm still um, doing this work full time, fully focused, fully dedicated to the expansion that's really happening at this time.
Assisting so many people coming online in their own energy. I just want to say there that, here we are 10 years later, you and my understanding of this as well, and my experience with what you've been teaching and sharing with the world, you really have embodied. This is like embodiment in a way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
you did it. Yay.
Well,
Yay.
and we're all still works in progress, right? Because we continue, there really isn't a finish line,
Yes.
at least in this. I mean, we keep hitting new levels of consciousness, but there's still more. There's still more, and there's
Mm.
still more. And I know I'm still integrating. I'm still bringing through cutting edge information and technology and upgrades into my body. And it's just like, wow, all these years later, and we're still, evolving is the name of the game, and that awakening into the mastery is it's a wild ride. It's a wild ride.
It's a wild ride. Thank you for your
Wild ride.
dedicated commitment to this
Yeah,
ride as well.
yeah.
So, yes, we're going to talk about this year and the energies of this year. It really is one of unity, and it's one where all of us need to be speaking unity as best we can in all situations, in all solutions. Do you want to share on that from your take from those realms?
Well, and it would be interesting. I'd love to hear your definition, Loren, of unity. What is your definition? Because there's
Yeah.
a lot of different thought processes about what that unity means.
It is still evolving, and it is a huge, daunting task, isn't it?
Yeah.
It means unity on all levels, and personally, it's hard to understand how we can truly be in unity. And so I think it's so new that each of us do something the best that we can. I've got a new platform I'm rolling out that is not about me, it's about all of us. That's one way that I can contribute to unity. It's interesting because we're in media and we're all separate. So unity is, um, at this point in the game, solutions to rifts that have been here ready to be healed within us. So if we begin to heal those rifts that really tear us apart, we're seeing on a macro level in our governments, we're seeing even down between friends and families and marriages. So that's what I speak of. I see it even in my local town government and even local boards in the government. So instead of keeping, and this has gone on for 120 years on this one board that I'm speaking of.
Wow.
So, how we each have to stand up in a way and speak in a new way for solutions of unity. And unity really means making sure that everyone feels safe enough, feels heard, feels secure, feels provided for, feels loved. So, I think it's a huge process, but we begin by speaking it.
Right, right. Well, and I may have just a little different perspective on unity, which um, is more of a micro versus a macro, right? Because for me, when we talk about unity and I look at the world, right, it's like, oh, hello, wait, this doesn't equate, right? We're looking at the world and we're looking at all of the craziness that's happening. But when I talk about really coming into unity, and I've been saying this for 30 years. I've been saying this my whole um, career, the whole time I've been doing this work, that the ascension process is an inside job. It is the only thing that you can truly control, the
Okay.
only thing that you can truly impact is you, your response, your reactions, your emotions, your chemical and biochemical. It the only thing that you truly have true mastery over is within. And so when we start to talk about unity, and I look at the world, and yes, I understand the idea of all being one on this planet. Yet I still see there's massive disconnect. And so when I start to talk about unity, I'm really talking about internal unity and unity back into oneness with source. Because when you can come into the unity that you are source energy,
Yes.
you are source energy. There's this, um, how can I say this? There's this program that's running that's called the ego, right? That makes us think we're separate, that makes us think we're tactical and real, and this body's, all this stuff in the physical reality. But in truth, the unity that we're searching for is the fact that we are source energy, that actually each and every single person on the planet is source energy. And that's the unity that ultimately we're moving towards, right? Because once we really understand that we're not separate from source, and we start to talk about the fact that quantum physics, we go into this all the time, nothing's real. Quantum physics tells us that everything that we think we're touching isn't real, that it's all 99.99999% space, right? And that space, I equate space to being source energy. We are all just source energy emanating in a reality that the consciousness of the ego tries to keep in separation, right? And so the unity that I really see as the next step for the evolution is the unity of really stepping into moving out of that ego framework, that personality framework that is constantly pulling us into separation, and moving into the understanding that we're all source energy. We have how many trillions and trillions and trillions of cells that make up this physical body that we think is so real, that we think is so real, right? And my gosh, when we're sitting here eating and when we're sitting here doing our lives, it feels very real. But quantum physics shows us that 99.999% of all those cells are simply space. And space, to me, is source energy. And when we start to understand that we are simply space, that the percent of the 0.00001 that we think is real is just the ego mind trying to keep us in separation, right? And when we start to realize that the quantum field isn't out there, the quantum field exists. You are already the quantum field. It's not something we have to search for. It's not something that's elusive. It is what and who we are. It's just the matter of taking the personality and the ego program that's running and getting rid of those distortions that make us believe that we are anything but source. And that's the breakthrough, I think, that's really coming in the next decade. Is because we've been working on releasing belief systems. We've been working on releasing emotional patterns and things stuck in the DNA. This is all the ego program. This is, when I love to go back to the good old, one of my very, very, very favorite all-time movies, The Matrix. Do you remember where you were when you saw The Matrix? I mean, do you still have that intense, holy shit, what did they just show us? I mean, I remember that all the way back in, what was it, 89, or I don't remember what year it came out.
Maybe it was like 98.
Yeah, there I just transposed it. Yeah, 98. But the realization that, that whole idea that it is a program. And, a lot of people talk about this. One of the things that I've said from the get-go too, Loren, all these years is we're the ground crew. We literally had to come into the hologram to break it from within. Because, all of the beautiful light beings and bodies and angelic help, they're not embodied. We have to actually change the program and the way that the mind works in the physical body from within the matrix, within the program. And so that's what we're doing, in my humble opinion, as the light workers, as those on the cutting edge, or those that are waking up, is moving back into the consciousness that we're source, that there's no separation, that we already are the quantum field, that are, how long have we been talking about this? Thoughts create. I mean, we've been saying these words for decades now, but the shift in the saying and the actual mastering, this is where I think the 2020 decade is moving us into.
So then the next questions would be for those who really want to achieve that mastery. Can you talk a little bit more about the ego and really releasing it, and how aligning with that source energy, not even aligning with it, but recognizing it, being that in the space that it is, how does one really integrate that? Do you have tips of how you've done it in your own life.
I do, it because it's a retraining.
Yes.
And and unfortunately, we live in a society that we want instant change. We want it yesterday. Where's that? Where's the money? Where's that email? Where's that fast dash fast food in our? I mean, we want it all, boom, right now. And unfortunately, we're living on a planet of 7+ billion people, who each and every one of them are part of the mass consciousness, right? And so, and we live in the mass consciousness. Hello, we're here. We're part of all of this, right? And so every time and this is just to give you perspective, so you won't be so hard on yourself, right? Because I'm the worst. I'm so hard on myself. Why wasn't it done yesterday? Boom, 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 right? But I have to be patient with myself to understand that every time that I make that connection, every time I move into the quantum field and know I just know that I am source energy. I have 7 billion people on the planet that are running the exact opposite in the fields. And so you get glimpses, right? You get these momentary, holy shit, I am everything. I am source, everything is possible. And then you get hit with the matrix programming of the mass consciousness that's like, oh God, we're separate. Oh, wait, no, horrible, all of that's going on. So what's really happening right now as we move into this, there's so much, we could spend 4 hours, we could, because there's so much going on as well on the planet with the stargates and the portals,
Yes.
and the energies that are happening that are working in concert with us. So as the planetary, and I've been involved with planetary grids the first time we met, I was explaining to you how a whole, what did I even call it back then?
A portal.
Or a portal was collapsing. There was a whole level of the hologram that was actually collapsing. Well, the very first time I interviewed with you, this is like, I think it was my very first interview too, Loren. It was way back then. And I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, talking about it. But there's a lot that's happening in the cosmic hologram that we live in that is at this moment in time supporting the shifts in the neural pathways, the neural processes of the brain, and the way the grid systems around the planet are actually shifting and changing so that the biochemical, bioelectrical stimuli and communication can start to break out of the stronghold of that programming. So, there's so many different things that are happening to support our ability to move into longer stays within that conscious level of knowing we are the quantum field, we are source energy, without getting pulled back. But right now, it's still, for many people, nanoseconds. Some people maybe 30 seconds. Some people maybe can sustain it for 2 minutes, maybe some 10. But the mass majority, they can't hold within the fields of the brain and the nervous system that connection long enough. But as the portals, as the stargates change, there's a lot going on with the power places on the planet that are shifting, the whole grid system. And I know you talk with a lot of people that, Sandra Walters and Lisa Transcendence Brown, a lot of people who are and I don't really listen to, I don't pay
Yeah.
attention to what they're saying, but I know they're experts in those fields. But I'm also working on, big planetary grid changes that are also helping with the biochemical, electromagnetic, how it affects the physical body that we're still in, to be able to open up again the space so that we can hold that consciousness longer. So there's a lot happening. And the cosmic lineups right now and in coming in for 2020 and beyond are specifically designed to help break the magnetic hold and the shifts and the changes in the way that the brain, the nervous system reacts within this holographic reality.
Not to mention the Saturn Pluto conjunct, right? That's one of the astrological events that you're speaking of.
There's well,
There's
and
a
if
lot of
you really look,
eclipses,
yeah, if you really look at 2020, it's nonstop. I mean,
really,
we're in a window right now of, I mean, I think this is one of the funner things right now. We're in a
really.
window of what, 5 weeks? It's the only 5 weeks in the whole year where we're not in a retrograde.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we have 4 weeks left of the whole year where we're not in something in a retrograde. There are so many planetary things. And if you, I mean, we've always got celestial activity going on. But if you've been in this game long enough, you can see the acceleration
Yes.
of what's happening with the cosmic alignment. And I've said this for decades as well. We are in a cosmic window of time to make this happen. And so the cosmic playing out, the celestial bodies, the way that the grids and the portals and all the stargates, the way it's all shifting and changing is specifically designed to be in alignment with the consciousness of the brain and the neural pathways and the nervous system and how all of that is shifting as well. So it's just fascinating when you really step back and look at what is all working to help us make these quantum leaps at this time. And it's not going to slow down. It's not going to slow down at all.
It seems like the recent window that we went through, the gateway, personally, and I know I've talked with others, it was intense for some, the
Right.
1-1 gateway. And again, no matter when anybody's listening to this, we can reflect back on that time. So 1-1, 2020, for me personally, it was adjusting. It was something that happened that rocked me to the core, and it was a new foundation based on love. And I love what you said earlier about unity. I adopt that vision of unity or that understanding of unity. And I think this is where we are challenged in our lives is episodes that reflect to us where we need to restructure. And this is a powerful year for that, ahead of the whole new decade, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, when you come down to it, everything, everything that is actually going to move us into this experience of mastery, of knowing that we truly are source energy. The only thing that's going to get you there is love. That's it. Holding that frequency and going beyond the word love, right? I mean, there's so much built into that in this in this reality. But it's a frequency. Love is absolutely a frequency that is embodied. And when you can really embody that frequency of love, your whole response system, right? Your whole reaction, your whole way of being changes. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely. And I want to share a quick story
Hold on a
because
second. I need to find you. I can't seem to find you again.
so click down on your little Zoom panel and just try to find the little blue circle with the white camera in it, and I'll
I
pop back up again.
Hold on, pin video. No, let's see.
because we see
Oh,
you.
good.
So
I just want to. Where did you go? I
I'm
see you
here.
now. Well, I see you. Okay, that's good
You
enough.
see me now. Okay.
I see
Well,
you. I see
good.
you.
And we see you. We see everyone. Oh, I want to say come into our after party and you will share your video with us if you'd like. So
Oh,
we'll show you how to join our after party. Raquel, there's a link to this webpage to come in. You can get a single ticket. You can become a member or you can purchase Raquel's special offer. We're going to get there. But I'm coming back to this topic at hand,
yeah,
Raquel.
please.
I wanted to share a quick tool. Yes, love will get us there. And one of the things that was I've been experimenting with this and it's magic. It really is more and more, not only the violet flame, which we all know the power of the violet flame to transmute any negativity, but the Ho'oponopono. Literally, this is where the battle between the ego and the tool took over. So my higher self said, in the depths of some kind of betrayal energy that I was helping to transmute, I heard Ho'oponopono, and at the point I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you." And then my ego stepped in and was like, "What in the heck are you doing apologizing? Why do you have to say I'm sorry?" But I did it anyway. And we do that practice instantaneously. The situation was diffused, communication was opened, we were able to move through it. I've used that on a couple of occasions. I did it with a neighbor, and it was so amazing. If we can find a way to say those words, I know some people are like, well, don't give your power away with I'm sorry, forgive me. Some will just say, thank you, I love you. So if we can do that, that really does help us maintain that vibration.
Right. Yeah, because it is all a vibration. And the more you can learn to really move into the space of being source energy, the space of being the quantum field, right? And definitely I'm not the only one talking about this. I mean, it's everywhere, right? As we
Mhm.
start to move into this next level of really mastering our experience, right? And really creating the experience that we're looking for. And so, as more and more and more of us learn how to move into the space within ourselves and experience that quantum field with the vibration of love, with the vibration of creating a world that emanates that love, right? And it's I I go back and forth. I'm just as human as the rest of us, right? Um, about wow, I look at the world, I look at what's going on, and my realist personality goes, okay, it's not going to happen today, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but we have to get this wave to a level that it really will wash over the consciousness of humanity. And you know again, back to the impatience that I have, because I want it all yesterday, right? I just want to be back into an experience of creation and love and fun and play and service and all of that. And but as we really learn to master this as an inside job, right? Back to that, it's an inside job, because as we hold the fields and as we master this and as we walk this talk, that it has that reverberation throughout the quantum field. Because if we are the quantum field, if everything is source, if we can rewrite the program of the ego one person at a time, we'll get to that place where there's enough of us that are holding that, knowing that we can have that cascading effect, right? And we're still, man, we are, I was listening to the radio, or Spotify or whatever it is, Pandora, the Renegades. And the Renegades, this song keeps coming up in my head. And I don't even really know the definition of a renegade, but I know it's the ones that are just out there making change, right? And I feel like we're the renegades. I don't know why this word, it's been in my awareness. I mean, I've heard the song for 3 years, but it's just really been in my awareness the last couple of days that we're really the renegades. We're out there. We are the way showers. And yet, how much does it take in personal mastery to hold this all the time, right? And so there lies the beautiful experience that we've set up for ourselves to step into this mastery on a moment by moment, hour by hour, daily by daily experience, right? Because none of us are perfect. We'll pop out of it. Somebody runs you off on the road, or flips you off as you're driving, or what, it's like what, and you move out of it. It's like, oh, what, I was just driving, what am I doing, right? But the world is so angry,
The world
so
is
much of
angry.
it is, that when that hits us, it hits our fields again, and then you have to breathe back into that. No, I'm love. I'm love. And when you start to really be able to move into that 99% of the space and out of the one ego, I mean, I think it's, now that we really understand this, I mean, the quantum science is coming in, and we've got, all of these things with, epigenetics, and I mean, all of this we still only know this much of what the brain is capable of, right? We haven't even tapped the surface of what we're really capable of. But as we continue to be able to move into that mastery more, it's repetitive, and it is doing it day after day. It's getting into the practice, because there will be a point when that 0.0001% that is running the show is so, I mean, that we'll be able to laugh at it, that we ever let it take any kind of our freedom. And it still surprises me, even as much as I know how much that 0.00001% still has control over what we think and how we act. And then you laugh and you go, but it's such a small percentage. How can that be? And then we go back to understanding that it is the mass consciousness of the 7 billion on the planet that constantly are broadcasting, that makes that 1% so strong, or that 0.0001%. Sorry, let me correct that, because it's not even, right? So any kind of practice that you can do to, I started teaching dropping down into the heart a decade ago, really living from this part of your body, not this, right? Bringing your consciousness to reside within the central processing unit of your individualized matrix, right? Because everything needs to operate from here. Yes, the brain obviously has its role, but when you can run the energy from the heart, because I always have truly believed that the connection to source is right through the center of the heart chakra. I've never really believed that it solely is from the pineal or the crown. I've always felt it from the heart, because that's the center of our being as a human in this reality, right? And so the more you can drop down into the heart, the more you can do the Ho'oponopono.
That's so cute how you say that.
That one, that one. How do you say it?
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. The more you can do any of those techniques, and the realization of that 99.99999% of you as source energy, and something that you can't even microscopically see as the ego that's running the show, the perspectives start to shift, right? And it's like, I am so powerful in a way that can make positive change, that I can direct and create the world around me, right? But then we get hit with the 7 plus billion and we get pulled back in. So it's a process of retraining the mind, retraining the brain, retraining the neural pathways, uh, working with the intelligences of our body that really makes this such an exciting time to be alive. I mean, it's really an exciting time to be alive.
Just remember that, everyone. It's exciting.
It is
Take that
exciting.
slant. Yes, it
It's
is.
exciting
Because
because
every change that we make based on love is really transformational. So
it
that's the
is.
fun part of it.
It
Well, all
is.
right. We're going to invite everyone to our after party where they can ask you questions. People come in on Zoom. I'm going to put up a quick slide right here. But I want to say we're going to do in a moment, Raquel's going to do a little energy session for us. Raquel, this would be wonderful to really empower us and fortify us on being able to hold this frequency in spite of that collective, the
Yeah,
mass collective, right?
right.
Or and maybe dropping us into the heart. So that's coming up in a moment, but on the screen here, there's a quick link, bit.ly/Raquel offer gets you to her special offer. She'll talk about that in a moment. Or you can come on in and join our after party by going to bit.ly/QCTV Pass. Please join us. We're going to be here for another 30 minutes or so. And then your questions in our private Zoom audience. It's really fun because we get to share our stories, ask our questions, and laugh. My goodness, it is time to laugh.
It is time to laugh.
So, thank you, Raquel. I want to give you the space right now. Your energy ceremonies are just so unique,
Yeah,
absolutely multidimensional.
thank you. Well, and a couple of, it's interesting because I've been teaching a couple of these techniques for, gosh, almost a decade now. And the proof that lets me know I'm really on track is because they're still just as relevant today as they were when I introduced them a decade ago, right? And now that we start to understand the impact of that mass consciousness, one of the very, 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 very first things I want to remind people to do is to disconnect from the mass consciousness on a daily basis, maybe even a couple of times a day.
How do you do
Be-
that?
and it's easy because
Just shh.
yeah, and I'll take you through a little quick exercise, but we can't help but be in mass consciousness
We're,
because we
we're
live it,
empaths.
right?
Yes,
We're
we can
empaths,
feel
we
it.
live it,
Hmm.
where you pass by a TV, you're hooked in. You got the radio on, you're in, right? You're fully in, right? So one of the things that I've taught for so long is to really consciously say it out loud, disconnect from the mass consciousness, because what you have to now understand is that those 7 billion people on the planet are broadcasting that whole program of separation, of fear, of ego, of and all that blankety blank 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 that goes with it,
We
right?
feel it.
Because they don't know any better.
Hmm.
It's a program they're locked into. It's a virus, if you will, that is running. Okay. And so by knowing that, and it doesn't have anything to do with the souls of who they are, they're just locked into this program. They're locked into this virus that has got a hold on them, unfortunately, right? Because it's been going on this planet for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And it's gotten really good at fooling us, right? So knowing that it doesn't have anything to do with who they really are because they're source energy just like you are. We're going to disconnect from the program, the virus that's running. That is the mass consciousness. Doesn't have anything to do with the people. they're all source energy that is just forgotten. So it helps a little bit because when we talk about the unity, it's like, but why do you want me to disconnect? Well, we're not disconnecting from the energy that they are source. We're disconnecting from the misalignment of that virus that is distorting their perception profusely, right? And so we can do that. That makes it easier. You're not going against, oh, I'm disconnecting from the world. No, you're disconnecting from this really lousy virus that's going on. That means you can still love all the people. They're all source energy. They're all emanations of source in physical form. We're just disconnecting from the virus that's running. Okay. So when you do that, just it's so simple. You drop down in, and part of it is we have all of these ways in which we perceive the world around us. We have all of these energies that go out to perceive what's going on around us. And so simply just pull those back in, just like your chords. People think, oh, well, it's just like pulling in your chords, recording your chords. Same idea. It's about bringing back your energy, but as you do, you're purifying it. Anything of that virus that holds those vibrations that run within that program. And, I always love, me, I love my Star Trek. I love my, Matrix stuff. I go back to the holodeck of any of you guys, the program was put in, all the players come out, but when it really closes down, you just see all of the matrix pattern. And that's what we're disconnecting from. Okay. So just it's not, ooh, I'm disconnecting from, you can take away the negativity of it and just realize you're disconnecting from that grid system that's holding a distortion. It's not the people, it's not got anything to do with not loving them, it's loving them even more. So when you bring in that perspective, you know that you can disconnect and hold a pure vibration and not have that affect your fields so that you can raise your vibration even higher. Okay. So see that either pulling in all of your little strings, but as you do, they're all getting purified as they come back into the heart. Okay. So we're going to do that. We're also going to drop down into the heart, and then we're going to see if we can get you into the space of source. Okay. So everybody just take a beautiful, nice deep breath, if you will. Go ahead and close your eyes and just relax into your body. And let's just begin, first of all, by acknowledging the fact that we have this amazing body that shows up in this reality, this hologram that we think is real, that holds trillions and trillions and trillions of cells. And we want to just send a wave of gratitude through those cells for being conscious with us as we are within this experience to learn our mastery. And each one of these cells has an opportunity to help us step into that mastery. So just send a wave of gratitude. Bring your awareness all the way down into your heart. And I want you to really bring your conscious mind down into your heart. And when I say that, again, your consciousness, we know that it's out around in your fields. It's not just in your brain. And I want you to almost like throw a golden net. And I want you to gather up your consciousness. Your mind has part of it, but it resides everywhere. And so gather up your conscious mind. And I want you to literally bring it directly into the center of your heart chakra. This is where source communicates through your central computing operating system. And when the conscious mind and source are unified, and this is part of the unity that we are all striving for, when your conscious mind and source energy are unified together, this is where the mastery of truly being a creator of life force and of love This is where the magic happens. And just allow the space within your heart to open up to source energy and allow that frequency of source to come into your awareness. It's always there, but it's not always in your awareness. And just allow that to come into your awareness. And I always see source energy the way I perceive it. It does show up as really bright light. Sometimes it's multicolored light, sometimes it's white. Sometimes it's just sound. However, it shows up for you, I want you to start seeing that within every single cell of your body. And if that's too overwhelming, pick one cell. And I want you to set your intention to receive all that is available, all that is 100% aligned with you. As a facilitator of light, I am simply opening up the field for you to experience. And so set your intention to receive all that is available for you, that is aligned for your truth, for your wisdom, for your life, for your light, and for your happiness. I'm going to do a really loud, sharp, quick tone. This is going to open up your field so that you can experience more light in the cells. Really loud, sharp, quick tone. Those vibrational sounds help to move density out of the cells. That's part of the ego program. Go back to that individualized cell. And I want you to see that cell filled with light, with source energy, with love, whatever you equate that universal source frequency to. I want you to see it expanding in that cell that you've chosen to focus on. And if you've chosen to focus on your entire body, how beautiful is that as well? Whatever works for you in this now moment. And as that cell and your body is filled with that light of source energy, notice that there's very little physicality that is actually left. There's only light, there's only energy, because it has the power to override that program that's telling you anything is physical. Now, as creators and as humans within, the whole purpose of this experiment that started long time ago was for us to be able to create and experience a physical sensation, a physical reality. And the original thought was one of love and beauty and expansion and joy and laughter. Somewhere along the line, got a little distorted. But I want you to feel into that space of source energy. And I want you to drill down even more, like you're in a microscope, going smaller and smaller into those cells. And even as you're in that minute micro look at the cell in your body, I want you to now come back into seeing your entire physicality that we experience as the body as source light. And realize, man, you can't even see the skin or the bones or anything. It's just light. And as you move back into the microscopic, looking at the cells, you realize it's just space and light. And that is the quantum field. It's always been within you. It's always been there. And with that vibration, knowing that you are source energy and that you are a creator, set your intention to create with love. And just set the intention. We're going to set the intention right now that as we are in this new decade, this new energy, this new frequency, this new understanding, this new illumination, and that by the power that we are creator beings, set the intention that everything and anything that is not 100% aligned with this truth, with your ability to step into your mastery, your ability to be the way shower, the renegade that is here to change the holographic reality. Everything and anything that is not aligned with that truth be simply released out of your holographic reality, out of your day-to-day experience, and to have it done with ease, grace, and love. Any people, situations, experiences that are not aligned to help you truly master this experience, to simply move out of your reality so that you may hold the light, hold the love, hold the frequency, and know that you are the creator light force. You are source. And with everything that is releasing, simply bless it, that it may know its own truth, that it may feel the love and the vibration that you are putting forth in the world, and that it may, or they may, shift quickly and effortlessly to raise into the higher realms of light. Take one more nice deep breath. And once again, see yourself as that quantum field with your thoughts that you are mastering, creating with life force energy the reality that you desire. Send a wave of gratitude to the trillions and trillions of cells that make up the body that are moving into this level of source realized within the physical reality. And send another wave of love and light to all of those who are still connected into the mass consciousness, that the truth of who they are will come into their awareness in perfect divine time. See your body healed, see your body light, see your body filled with love and radiance and purity and joy. And as you do, go ahead and open up your eyes and know that you have set that in the fields from your heart.
No words in this beautiful state. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Don't be surprised of what seems to kind of disappear from your reality. And when you do that kind of thing on a daily basis, things really open up and the path just opens in front of you. And all it takes is your consciousness and your intention, really, and knowing that you're source, knowing you're the quantum field, really moving into that awareness level of mastery instead of just talking about it or the principles or the ideas. We're moving into the mastery of owning that and living from it. That's what the next decade is all about, in my humble opinion.
Happy next decade, masters of light. Beautiful. Hopeful. So it's beyond the word hopeful. It's mastery. It's light. It's why we're here. And it's here. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Raquel Spencer will be joining us in our after party on Zoom. She has a bundle of activations. This is the new Light Body 3.0, Raquel, and your special offer. I'm going to put the screen up for those who are interested in that to follow along on this webpage at acoustichealth.com. You'll find the special offer for Raquel. But this is a series of activations, Raquel, to even allow us to go deeper with this work and really hold this light on a deeper level. Talk with
Absolutely.
us about this program, will you please?
Well, it's the my one of my expertise is really dealing with preparing the body to hold the light, right? Very much about the physicality of the neural pathways and the nervous system and the chakra systems and the energy bodies and the physical bodies, and how all of this is evolving to be able to hold this level of mastery. And so this is a 7-day series that goes incredibly deep into recalibrating your body to be able to um, hold this level of mastery. And it goes through. It's a really the way that I do these programs. I really love it. It's an MP3 that you listen to that has light language embedded through it and the activations that go through it. I have a write up of what's happening so that you can read that before you actually do the activation. But this particular series goes in and it unlocks the interfaces between the physical and the multidimensional realms so that your ability to actually perceive in multidimensional states of light and understanding open up much more. It activates the next level of your epigenetic capability in the body, the genes and the actual instructions of the genes and the intelligence of the genes start to come online at a much different level. We go in and we repair cellular telomeres and the mitochondria in the brain. Again, this is part of coming out of the atrophy of being disconnected, so that program can't take as much hold as it's been doing in the past. We also upshift the functionality of your HPA axis, which is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis in the brain with the hormones and all of that. So it upgrades that. It initiates the next level of cellular regeneration. And it also starts to bring in new levels of emotional intelligence, mental intelligence, and emotional innocence, which is something that came through. I hadn't really heard that term, but talking about the emotional innocence where you can get back into that childlike, and this isn't to be silly or foolish or non-aware, but it's that innocence of that purity of heart, of that sense of love before distortion. It helps bring you back into that state of consciousness and more. So it's a 7-day series. Each MP3 is about 30 minutes, maybe 25, 30 minutes that you listen to at your leisure, and you upshift and upshift and upshift as you go through this series. And many of my clients were pretty blown away People that have been working with me for years are still like, wow, it really brings in a completely different level of your consciousness.
Okay, beautiful. Well, that special offer is available. We thank you for that. These are great tools, again, that just accelerate the process. They're light encoded, they're energy encoded. And so, would you say you said it's 7 days? So,
Uh-huh.
it's a 7 day process. And then, if you wanted to repeat the next
Oh my
cycle,
gosh. Yes.
because it
Yes.
would continue
Yes.
to
It keeps
upgrade.
going. It just keeps going. I mean, many of my clients actually do it 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 times. And
Hmm.
then, I mean, and it keeps anchoring it into your experience. So it's
Hmm.
not just a one-time shot, right? I always say do the series until you feel complete.
Yes. All right. So that is there available again on this webpage at acoustichealth.com or on the quick link bit.ly/Raquel offer. Again, if you purchase that offer, you will get a ticket to today's Zoom after party. Join us on Zoom where you can share with us, you can ask a question, or you can simply laugh and be part of our community. We just like to hang out for a few and get to know each other. It's our New Earth community. All right. Well, Raquel, I want to thank you. I feel vibrant. This was a very powerful tool. A couple of really great tips here. Great conversation. I'm just so pleased to just look back and say, wow, a decade. And so much has changed in my life. Again, I want to say thank you. 10 years ago, when I met you, you literally cracked me wide open energetically. It's interesting right now. You shifted me out of fear and out of poverty consciousness.
Oh,
You may
wow.
not know that, but it is so beautiful. And now, as all of us step into our mastery, we're here to really support one another. And good gosh, we can do it. Great gosh almighty. Yes, we can. Yes, we
Yes,
can.
you can, absolutely.
Oh, goodness, girlfriend. I love you, Raquel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here on
Oh,
this quantum conversation.
thank you for having me back. It's such a pleasure to hang with you guys, to talk and to share and to be part of the community and know that we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Raquel Spencer. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you, everyone, too, for being here. We thank you for holding this light. It literally not only changes your DNA, but it changes our planet. And we can't be more excited and exuberant over that. And so, as we say goodbye, we invite you to dance your way with us to the cosmic heart. Enjoy. And we'll see you in 5 minutes in the after party on Zoom.